So this right here is the $250 gaming PC I put together completely for fun. I wanted to see what kind of PC I could build with such a small budget, and this is what I came up with. Honestly, with the side panel closed, it looks just like any other PC, but when you look at the inside, that's when things start to get interesting. So the heart of this build is this, a CPU, motherboard, and RAM combo off AliExpress. It has an Intel Xeon E5-2689, which has 8 cores and 16 threads, a classic looking AliExpress MATX motherboard, and 60GB of Samsung DDR3 RAM at 1600 MHz speeds. Luckily, this did come with 2 sticks, which is important for dual channel, which a lot of similar boards on AliExpress only come with 1. We are quickly going to install the RAM onto the motherboard and now start working on adding the CPU cooler. The cooler is also from AliExpress and it's from a company called Adigrees, and the only real reason why I bought it is because it's compatible with our CPU socket and very cheap. This for sure will not give us the best performance possible, and I would highly recommend trying to find something better, but for this budget build, it should be just fine. Installation is as simple as screwing on the included bracket to the motherboard and then latching the cooler onto it. Along with this, motherboards from AliExpress usually don't include a CMOS battery, so we're going to install one here as well. But with that, our motherboard is pretty much ready to go, and we can now install it into the case. Speaking of case, I decided to go with a very interesting pick. This is the JoyJom Micro ATX case, and it's one of the cheapest cases you can purchase on Amazon. Honestly, I don't think it looks all too bad. It's actually quite a compact case and doesn't take a lot of room on your desk, but there is absolutely no cable management and the materials are not of the highest quality. But what can you really expect from a $36 PC case? So we are going to install the I/O shield, line up our motherboard with the standoffs, and start screwing it in. Since this is a much smaller MATX board, there actually is still quite a lot of room on the side for routing cables. But now that the motherboard is in, I'm quickly going to plug in all of the case wires like the front USB, audio, and power button. Once that is finished, it's now time to install the power supply. The one that I went with is the Thermaltake Smart 500 Watt. This is one of the most popular power supplies for budget builds, and for $39, it will get the job done. Obviously, I would love to go with a much higher quality unit, but with this budget, that simply would just not be possible. So after screwing it into the case, we can start plugging in the 24-pin and 6-pin CPU wires. Now it's time to install storage. So originally I was just going to go with a super cheap M.2 SSD, but I forgot to order it in time for this video, so we're going to be using a 2.5-inch SATA SSD instead. If I had the M.2 SSD, this would save the hassle installing this one and having to route wires for it, but luckily this case actually has support for mounting traditional SSDs, and we can screw it on the side here and plug in all the necessary wires. After that, it's time to install the GPU. The one that we got here is the GeForce GTX 1660 Super, and you can easily find this card for around $90 to $100 on the used market on like eBay or Facebook Marketplace, and I was able to pick it up at the lower price. Of course, this isn't going to be the fastest GPU, but as you will see later, it will be able to run quite a few titles at decent settings. If you're looking to save even more money, you can also consider getting something like the GTX 1070, which can regularly be found for around $80 to $90. So after installing this onto the PCIe slot and connecting it to power, all I have to do now is install the rear fan again, and our $250 gaming PC is fully complete. This was actually a very easy build to put together, but now the real question is, what kind of performance can we expect? All of the games I tested were in 1080p, which was the resolution I was targeting for this computer. In Rainbow Six Siege, we are seeing around 140 FPS during the benchmark. Obviously, Siege isn't exactly the most demanding game, but at high settings, it's still performing pretty well. And for a $250 gaming PC, these are the types of games you can expect pretty good performance from. Same can be said for Overwatch 2. We are getting over 200 FPS in most scenarios, and again, Overwatch is quite an easy game to run, but you can easily get high refresh rate gaming no problem with this PC in esports titles. In Fortnite on performance mode with high meshes and far render distance, we are getting around 140 FPS as well, and sometimes higher depending on the gameplay. I never really felt any huge lag spikes or hitches, which made the experience experience a lot better. In CS2, on high settings, we were getting over 100 FPS in most scenes, with the occasional drop down below. If we played on lower settings and made some better optimizations, the game could probably run at around the 144 FPS mark for high refresh rate gaming. And lastly, to really test this system, I tried out Starfield. And while we were at low settings, we were able to get a stable 60 to 70 FPS. It was a very playable experience, and I never really had any lag spikes that affected gameplay. And overall, I am super impressed with the kind of performance that we were getting. So would I recommend building this $250 gaming PC? Well, if your budget is locked at that $250 budget, then I would just say go for it. But if you're willing to save even just another $100 to $150, you can get onto the AM4 platform, which will give you a lot more options and performance. So while this PC is great, I would recommend, of course, saving more money. But overall, I was pleasantly surprised with this PC. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.